for you. Because we'll always be friends. But also my friends here. Mentally Zill. What's up,
Oh,
Zill?
oh, hello. Hello there. How's it
And
been?
and I feel like I need like John Cena music to introduce Hash today.
There is, yeah, right.
Oh
There's
yeah,
literally no.
brother.
Yes, yes.
Dun,
We can
dun, dun,
try to make
dun.
this translate over audio.
It doesn't. Yeah,
It
No,
just
it,
it's an
doesn't.
audio thing.
Go watch the stream and
yeah.
go fucking look at a screenshot of this
I
nonsense.
mean, I would just say it this way: like if Macho Man Randy Savage let himself go a bit and blonded out his hair some,
Yep,
that's literally what Hash looks like right now.
nailed it.
And that's not
He's
even
like snorting Cliff Bars. Like, it's
Yeah.
excellent.
oh my god, it's amazing. Like it is the probably most convincing and
Hey,
remind me
I think that's a great
professionally
compliment. Dad bod Randy Savage. I'll take it.
Dan Mon Randy Savage.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So that being said, welcome to the podcast, everybody. Today we're going to talk about Hash. Really, he wanted to talk about his climb and the things that are working for him and the things that aren't. And specifically, he and I have been on like a grind with the idea that we're going to occasionally stop, break down games, and seek improvement.
Yep.
So that's been our back and forth, and that's been our dynamic. So let's start here and like, how is that working? What has been effective? What's been less effective? Like, what have you got out of it and stuff? And then if that doesn't somehow manage to go a full hour, I'll talk for a while.
Okay.
So,
I
Hash,
think.
floor's yours, man.
Yeah. All right. Sure.
Well, why don't we start with this?
What's our
How did
record?
we start this season? Explain to the people like what we're doing and what the goal is and shit like that.
Well, I feel like from the beginning the goal really wasn't to win. It was just not to be bad. Like we didn't really focus on the W's quite as much as not making stupid errors in lane.
It's a very 30-plus approach. I like it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
basically slowly lowered ourselves into a warm bath of ranked.
Yeah. I mean, for whatever it's worth, what am I, like low goldish? Somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
So just for context for anyone listening, and
I'd put you higher, but I'm a little biased, so that's fair.
that's what I'm playing with you.
We'll find. Well, right, actually. No, we'll find out where you're.
Well, no.
at
Whenever
by the
you
end of
said
this, hopefully.
"What am I," assumed you meant like where am I ranked, not like what is my potential.
Yeah. Okay. So my
Yeah.
rank is I think silver 1 right now, and we're 13-2, somewhere in that range. So the focus was taking just like a few moments before every game and talking about what our goals were for the game, and then going in and just kind of like talking through it in the middle of laning phase. But I did notice that like we never really got hung up on like, oh, you fucking idiot, you didn't do that.
Right.
Like there wasn't a lot of that going on. It was very zen, very let whatever mistake you make wash over you, and then just move on to the next decision. And then once we were out of laning phase, it was like define your win con, walk through the steps to get to it, and then walk back to where you are in the game currently, and figure out how we're getting from A to B to C to hopefully winning. And then like when we had like that inting Tryndamere, when we had just full teams of people that were making decisions that actively made the game harder, like we would kind of shake our heads, but it wasn't tilting. It was
So,
just kind of like,
I wanna
this is out of our control, so we're not gonna worry about this shit.
I want to stop you there for a second because we had, like, I remember one game in particular. I don't remember who played it, but somebody was like hard fucking us, and it was like they insisted on. It was like a Garen or something that was insisting on just continuously split pushing.
The Graves.
Okay, yeah,
It was the Graves.
and
Who did eventually lose us that game by saying, I'm gonna solo take the Nexus, and obviously that didn't work out.
yeah, that didn't pan. But I like
That
there.
objective control, though.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
were. I mean, we had a couple of games where we had people that intentionally lost us the game, and we were talking during the game, and we were like, "Yeah, this guy's gonna lose us this game," and then the answer was basically like shrug, "Yep," and if he does, okay,
Yeah.
then we play the next one and we try to win that game, right? Like, but I think that kind of outlook on the game is like the outcome of the game doesn't matter. It's like, are you improving? Are you making yourself better at this game? Did you invest in improvement in the 45 minutes or 30 minutes it took to get here? Right? And if you did, the outcome of the game just doesn't really matter. And like I've seen shit, I used to do it with Ponderous. Ponderous would lose his shit about that kind of thing. And it was not recoverable. Like he didn't shrug it off and come back next game with a
Just
clean slate.
Full tilt-a-whirl.
Yeah, I mean he would. And I mean that's what the weird thing is, and I'm not gonna try to, like make this about me or anything, but like I was good at balancing that out in him, right? And because like you said,
Mellowing him out a little bit.
What's your
Yeah.
thought to the duo? That's fair.
yeah, it's like, hey, it's fine. If we're better, it doesn't matter. We'll pull it out. We need to focus on this and do that, right? And Ponderous is like, he's kind of like Astros in that he was a very, like he focuses hard on the negative and loses the positive in that.
So he could win a game and end up more tilted than when he began.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's absolutely true. And if you've played with Ponderous, then you know I'm not bullshitting you whenever I say that. Like, I've had games where we were winning and he played terribly because of some decisions that were made in the game that he did not agree with on like a fundamental level. And it was like, okay, but you have got to you've got to be able to set that kind of crap aside and focus on you, or the improvement part of it just doesn't happen because you're too busy making mistakes because you don't give a shit because you're in a defeatist mental attitude,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
You're
like,
definitely not gonna be in a space to learn if you're just like trying to burn the world.
yeah. So I mean, don't think that in those games, listeners, that we didn't have those people. We 100% did, right? Hash, how often did we engage them?
Exactly one of them got your goat.
Which one? I forgot.
One. It was our Karthus jungle against the
Oh,
Raven
that
Seraphim
dumbass.
the master tier duo that we faced.
Oh yeah, that dumbass. I forgot about that. That guy
That-
did piss me off.
That game
but-
was less than fun, and we definitely just we weren't. I wasn't up to the task to play against those two.
So yeah, we got queued against a master tier duo somehow.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, we looked them up. They were. So that sucks. I mean, we also got fucking butt crushed by them too. So it's like, all right, there were. The funny thing is, we got beat so bad that it was like tilting to like,
Oh, it was emasculating.
yeah, it's to a
I-
point where you're like, I am not gonna just slink behind the turret. I am going to
I
CS.
was performatively a eunuch for about 20 minutes.
And so, like, we kept trying to do things that we had no business doing and getting smashed for it.
It was bad.
And, like, the whole game was completely fucked. And we had this jungle Karthus who,
Yeah.
I mean,
love the
he
presence
was-
of
I
it.
think the experiment where like they hook an electrode up to a rat's brain and it gives it like basically a level of dopamine that's similar to an orgasm every time they push a lever.
Sure. Yeah. and it
Every
kills
time
itself.
this Karthus pressed the Lost Papa Spurf is alive button, oh, bing, 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 bing. I mean, the man would not stop.
Yeah. Like, it got to a point, and that's the thing, like, I was actually making shit happen. Like I left the lane, got to kill top, got to kill mid,
Yeah,
and like I was doing stuff. And this guy did
yeah.
not stop shit talking me
Mm-mm.
the entire game.
No.
And I'm like,
Thankfully, it was a short one.
yeah, oh yeah, we got fucking annihilated.
I think it
But
was like
like,
17 minutes.
oh god, that was miserable. But that is the one time I talked back to somebody. But that guy literally, like, and this is why I tell you guys, like, just mute. This is on my Smurf account. My Smurf account doesn't have chat muted because I didn't put that setting on mute. And this
What a
proves exactly what I'm talking about. Because on my main account, that guy would have pinged me, and I would have been like, ah, you're a douchebag. And then I would have just moved on. But, like, the novel of harassment that I got from this guy
Right.
during the
Instead,
game,
you pulled a double sniff. Got
and I'm
it.
like, oh, you bastard. Like, you son of a
Oh, yeah.
bitch, you don't think
It kept
I'm
coming.
clever enough to quip you back? Here we go. And then click, clack, click, clack.
Flame
And,
fingers.
yeah.
Already. Let's go.
And so, yeah, I mean, it was game on at that point. But then, like I said, like, if I was going to stop to shit talk anybody during a game, that was the game to do it. Because we had lost that game so fucking hard that there was not a, I mean, there's no opportunity cost in that one to shit talking because it was so gone. But regardless, yeah, that's a bad thing that you should try to avoid in general. But okay, so aside from that and like positive mental attitude and all that, Hash, what did you like? What's your experience been so far?
I have a lot less time to game because I'm trying to get into a master's program, and I am also working a full time and a half at times job. So, um, I guess I've become much more focused, like I'm much more deliberate about any time that I do get to play ranked. It's like every time I go into a game, I sort of prattle on in loading screen about like like what am I bad at? What do I want to get better at in lane? What am I focusing on? And I try to like have you hold me accountable to those things until we have to go team fight, and then it's I don't know. I feel a lot more confident outside of lane. I feel basically even if laning goes bad on Jin, I'm just like, well, whatever. I'll just get fed in team fights. I feel really comfortable in that space right now. But like creating that lead, getting an early Gale Force, I'm not quite there consistently. So that's what I've been focusing on. So every time we play, we get 1 or 2 games in, and maybe 3 if we're lucky, and just try to focus on like, all right, this time I'm trying to hit 10 CS a minute, or this time we're trying to make sure that we sucker punch them into like a really good level 2 power spike or whatever it is. And it's made the game in general infinitely more enjoyable than it has been for me in the past, because the win or loss doesn't really matter. I'm there to try to get better. But with that attitude, the wins have been much more frequent.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's our win rate floating at? Like 75%, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what our losses are. We've got 11 wins though.
Yeah.
So,
So I
we're
mean,
11 and 2. I'm pretty sure it's 11 and 2.
all right. I mean, we're doing well, is the long and the short of it. But like, okay, so as we've been playing, like we've had times where we've had disagreements about what the outcome of the trade should be or why, and
Oh no,
like,
mostly my positioning. It's like 100% of our disagreements are my
yeah,
positioning.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's what
Which I'm
leads to
learning.
an
I'm
outcome
getting
of
better at
trades.
it.
But I mean, that being said, and we lost Zill.
Oh.
Shit, that's gonna stop the recording. Hey, he's back.
He's
All right.
back.
We had some lightning here. Sorry, fellas.
No, you're fine. Here we go. And as a result of like disputes, we've like broken down the game, reloaded it, and then like did kind of a pause break, stopped. This is what we're talking about, blah blah blah. And then there were even a couple of times where I was like, okay, well, maybe I didn't have that right in the moment, but we could do this, this, or this.
The
And like,
reviews have been super nice. Like, I've never played with a consistent enough duo to just know that like I could pop on at a time at the evening and be like, hey, dude, like, let's spend 15 minutes breaking down this laning phase.
Yeah.
Um,
And I will say,
we're
so
still
like,
coming.
I think one of the hardest things to do. So I used to play StarCraft a lot, and started out bronze like everybody, worked my way up to plat as a solo StarCraft player. Felt really good about that, right? But the way I got there was by reviewing my games. Now, when I started playing League and I had friends to help me with playing my games, that was fine. But when I started doing solo queue and then I went back to watch my replays, it was like the hardest thing in the world to watch my failures. I don't know why in StarCraft it was so much easier to just like map everything out and understand and like watch someone else's build right. But like in League of Legends, watching yourself fail is terrible.
okay,
Like,
so I
you
think I
you
can, I
look
think I can,
stupid.
I think I can speak to that. And I think a
Okay.
lot of the reason is in StarCraft, your failure feels more statistical.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
oh, I didn't have 7 roaches by whatever minutes, or I
8 minutes,
I
right?
didn't
Yeah.
have my zerglings in a timely manner, right?
Sure.
Oh, well, I just need to be more efficient, and then you plan
Right.
how quickly you can hit your buttons,
Right.
and it's like you're racing against a clock, right?
Mm-hmm.
League, it's not about that. Like it's more intimate and personal, and you're making decisions, not executing something, right? And so like
Yeah.
whenever I make a play in League, and like Hash, there have been times where we've been reviewing videos that we do, and I'm like, oh, I fucked this combo up. If I would have done it this way, then that guy's dead,
I'm just
right?
saying that like being able to watch a game that you played with somebody else as a duo is excellent. Like that is the way to watch yourself fail because you are doing it together and so it hurts, but it doesn't hurt as bad as when you're just watching
Oh
it by
no,
yourself.
yeah, I agree with that
Yeah,
100%.
like it
No,
feels like
I was
you're
just
just
saying, like, if you're comparing
fucking
League,
whipping yourself. Like, god damn.
yeah, I mean, I was just saying, if you're comparing League to StarCraft, like, StarCraft is all about execution, and the
Right.
plays that you fuck up in League where you're like, oh, I could have executed that better,
I
they
just find
don't
it
feel
so
as
hard to get
painful.
people to watch their replays, and I feel like a
Yeah.
way to get people to watch their replays is if they did it as a duo. Like,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
think that would be healthy.
Well, the other thing is, I think you also have to have a duo that, like, knows shit. Like, if you have 2 people that are at the same level and they're disagreeing about how a play should have been done, then I think all you're doing is creating dissension rather than like progress.
Depends on the dynamic, but yeah.
It does depend on the dynamic. I agree. I think a lot of times if you have people in 2 different roles, like if you have mid and a jungler, the kind of conversation that you guys can have can be very beneficial. I feel like though if you're both solo laners, like you might not have that,
Yeah, I guess I'm imagining bot lane. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Where it's
Yeah.
like a partnership, and I'm like, oh, we should have gotten in, and you're like, no, we never should have. That was dumb. And then we argue about it, and then
Yeah,
nothing
and
gets
I think if you're
resolved,
too similar in your roles like that, there can be
Yeah.
it can be not beneficial. But
I
I
am
think
finding
I
that
have learned a lot from a silver one jungler when I was a plat player. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
and vice versa, because I just didn't have the perspective on the game.
I'm finding that some really bad habits that were baked in from playing alone for hundreds of games, for years in like silver and gold, are starting to get peeled back because I'm playing with someone who's got experience at a totally different
Sure.
level of play in the game, and it's like when you play like one or two, three, whatever characters, when your champion pool is pretty small, that kind of becomes a part of your identity. And it's very easy to feel personally attacked when someone says, "You did this wrong. You, as a Caitlyn player, made this bad decision," or "You, as a Hecarim player, made this terrible gank," or whatever, right? In StarCraft, there's one of three races, and you're not really your identity's kind of tied to it, but like it's not the same as one of 150 different decisions you could make as far as champions you want to sink all your time into in this game. It becomes really personal when someone says to you, "You fucked this up, you terrible RE player with 2 million mastery points." Like, how many times have we seen that with you, Zil? Like, every game I play when you're playing Teemo, I feel like when we have randos, someone makes a comment.
Yep.
Based off of your mastery.
That's why he plays Teemo. For the record, he's fishing for that shit. But yeah, no,
yeah,
I mean,
like, it's been like really helpful to have a different set of eyes looking at my decisions, and the mindset not be I need the W, but like I need the better decision.
I think that like
identity is not I'm a Jhin player who does this. It's I'm a bad Jhin player who is going to destroy everything about my identity to get better.
Like, I was going to give you a compliment on that because it's been very good to work with you and probably better than coaching most because you have an absence of ego that allows you to be more objective about what it is you're seeing. Right? And I
think
don't.
This is the first season I've played where that existed.
Yeah, I don't get that in a lot of people. And it takes like a willingness to just set aside like how you feel about things and just absorb information. And I feel like and that's hard. It's really hard to do. And I think
especially
you've done
when you sink hundreds of hours into something just doing it wrong over and over again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like I think you've done a really good job of that, and it's like I said, that's to me doing the hard things about League is more commendable than repeating something 10,000 times so you're perfect at it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so you can hit the Riven combo absolutely fucking perfectly. Awesome. But you still suck at making decisions.
Oh, right. You still don't do it at the right time. Right.
Right. You still, yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. You can really nail that combo, but you're still silver because you don't know when to do it. You know, and that's the hard part is just saying, okay, so I'm really good at Riven, but I'm really bad at top. I need to figure out how to play this. You know what I mean? And it's hard because you're like, damn, I have devoted so many hours. Or you've devoted so many hours building bad habits and then ripping all that out. You know, it's like, wow, I'm about to make a renovating a house reference.
We are
because that's been my fucking life for the last month and a half, so I might as well use it. But like, so I was changing a light fixture today because my wife wanted it about 4 inches up and 3 inches to the left to look right. I'm like,
that's how it comes, baby.
Yeah, like okay, I was like, all right, fuck, fine, whatever. But to do that,
did I just see another gray hair sprout? In your
beard? No, it was just right. That's all of them. They just grew longer. They didn't no new ones. They just anyway, fucking. I was like, okay, so I got to move this up to there. Okay, fine. And so as I'm doing this, I'm like having to cut into the sheetrock to pull out the cable and then move it up to here or whatever. And I don't care how you do it. It's never like gentle doing deconstruction on something. It feels bad because I'm cutting into sheetrock and it's like, I know I'm just creating a problem that I'm gonna have to fix later, and when I could just leave this wall the way it is with suboptimal lighting that looks fucking weird, but goddamn, cutting this sheetrock feels fucking terrible, right? Because I'm destroying something that's otherwise presentable, though it may be suboptimal. And to me, that's what like relearning your position feels like.
Yes.
Right? Is like, oh man, I'm gonna move that light fixture. I really got to cut into something that I'm already not comfortable destroying, right?
Yeah.
And you just gotta, and like that's hard. And I just want to say good job because that
That,
is that is
that happened to me 3 seasons ago, or maybe, yeah, 3 seasons ago with top lane. Because I played top lane from like bronze 4 to gold 1, and then I realized that I didn't like top lane because the way it was supposed to be played was not how I wanted to play League of Legends, and so I switched to mid. So I was like, "Fuck this shit! Like I'm not doing this anymore." Sometimes you want to get a new house, but
yeah.
if you're gonna stay in the one you're at, like Mr. Fields, then you got to cut into the sheetrock and then fix that shit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it fucking sucks, especially when you have to do shit you really didn't want to do. And that's kind of like the ego snap that I think is like so impossible for some people. Like you base an idea and an identity on, I think I'm good, but you're not because you have so many bajillions of things to improve at. But it's like if you're going to learn how to do something and I take a literal master and I drop them in your lap and it's somebody that you respect, like if I'm like, oh, you're going to learn how to play basketball. You're like, I'm already pretty good at basketball. I can shoot a free throw. And I'm like, and Michael Jordan's going to come here and teach you. You're going to be like, oh shit, I'm going to do everything Michael Jordan says. Like there's instantaneous non-ego in that situation, and I think that
Careful, Blake. Are you calling yourself the Michael Jordan of League?
I
Is
didn't.
that where this is going?
I didn't, but you just.
He is wearing a Puma hoodie.
Yeah, I am wearing a Puma hoodie right now. I do feel very athletic. No, what I was saying is, it's easier in the context of having somebody who you acknowledge is good at something to set your ego aside. So, like, if you are one of the people who struggles with like ego and man, like it's hard for me to get better because I have to like change shit about the way I play and I know that, but I just don't want to do it. Get a coach. That's somebody who like you respect.
That's different. Hold on, that's different than ego though. Like not wanting to do something, like a lot of times for people, that comes down to laziness, right? And that's not necessarily an ego issue. Like if you don't want to work because you want to have fun, like that's totally different. And you can play League to have fun. But if you want to work to get better, like that's different. No?
No, I mean I hear you.
Yeah.
But like I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to get at. Okay. So
There's a lot of people who say I want to get better, and then like you show them the work that's involved, right? And they're kind of like suddenly demotivated.
Yeah,
and
this is something that drove. Like almost a year ago, I think we had my buddy Jonathan on. He's a performance specialist. He's worked with a couple LCS teams, and he came on with great trepidation about talking about tilt. And I remember, Blake, you asked him directly, like, what advice do you have about tilt? And there was just a, okay, I'll talk about this. Because everybody asks him the same question.
Right,
and
sure.
the moment he says what you have to do to control tilt, everyone's eyes just glaze over. Because it's not sexy. It's not interesting.
Right.
It's not... You need to land this Q after you hit this R and then flash this way. It's literally you need to do breathing exercises. That's not.
And no one wanted to hear that. Yeah.
No one wanted to hear that. Nobody ever wants to hear that.
You need to sleep for 8 hours and eat a good breakfast, and you need to like be in mentally good shape.
Go outside, take a walk, come back.
You need to have healthy attachments with people in your life, so that when you try to create a connection with some stranger on the Rift, you're not going mental boom because they go left when you wanted them to go right.
Right.
And, it's like, I think you nailed it, Zill. It's like sometimes people hear the stuff that they have to actually do to get better, and their eyes just go.
And that's why, like, I love starting with the basics, like the trading stance, because I think the trading stance is actually fucking interesting. It's one of the interesting parts of League of Legends that you are constantly doing and can constantly get better at, right?
Yep.
To me, I mean, as much as it looks like I love to kill minions, getting my CS numbers up is really not that interesting to me. You know?
As much as it looks like that, or as much as you just really fucking do, because you do.
Yeah, but I'm not sitting there, you know, with a calculator, like, fucking jacking off, going, I got 2 more minions this time, you know? Like, that's not what's going on.
Zill's been caught whacking it to TPS reports in the raid room.
No. Like, there are aspects to me, you know, map awareness is sexy. That's fun to think about. Once you get those basic mechanics down, start looking at the map.
See,
more.
for me, it's the opposite. Like, I cannot, dude. The map.
You don't like to watch other people?
No, and that's the thing is, I've said like 60 episodes ago, that is the weakness of my game. I need to be looking at the map more. I need to be taking in more data from the map. If I would just...
It's the fucking crystal ball of League of Legends, man.
Oh, yeah.
You see the future.
Yeah. No,
you know what's going to happen before it actually happens.
And I will tell you this. I am 5 times better than I was before, but that's like saying I'm 5 times better and I was absolutely shit before. So now I'm like marginally less shit. 5 poops. You know, like on the 5 poop scale. And so I know if I really want to get better at League, that is the #1 place I could pour my attention, and it's super cantankerously, shittily boring to me. Like, I would rather, you know, poke at a hemorrhoid than I would stare at my map during laning phase, because my fucking stupid ADD brain is like, I want to get them kills. I want to drag that son of a bitch. I'm going to suck him backwards, zap him with some shit. Hash is going to W. We're going to kill that bastard. Woo! And me looking at my mini-map is not doing that.
Is TPing into bot, and Mid has been missing for 35 seconds.
It is just uncanny how opposite my brain is to Blake's, because what I'm doing while watching the minimap is just waiting for that other person to make a mistake, waiting for that other person to, like, not be watching their minimap. I'm like, oh, so-and-so's moving, but he doesn't see it because he's not moving in response. Oh, shit, let's go! You know, like, I love that shit. That's so fun to me.
You know, I've actually played Teemo and then realized at the end of the game that I never once utilized his passive because I never stopped moving.
Oh my god, no!
I just say it. I've done that.
You make me sick.
I have totally done that. I was like, oh shit, that's right. He has a passive that lets him go invisible.
You realize he gets attack speed when he comes out of that passive.
Yeah,
right?
no, I know. I never stopped.
There's a specific rune that allows you to get extra magic penetration as you come out of stealth as well. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm familiar, and I did not use it because I am dumb.
Use it. I've watched you. Hold on. I've watched you accidentally use it.
Did he go AFK?
No, and he's done it exactly one time, and it's when he kept his left hand off screen because he was fucking sitting in a bush as Teemo support and just whacking it to watching himself deny cannon minions to a poor ADC that was blinded when they tried to step up. He would just sit in the bush. He would just sit in the bush in front of tower and wait for the ADC to try to come up and catch the cannon minion.
So like the things, like a lot of things that Hash and I have been talking about, like opportunities to get better, because that actually segues me really quite nice into exactly what I wanted to talk about in part.
Wild that segued you.
That's what did it. That's what did it. Anyway, is like, so I was telling Hash, was like, yeah, you know, with Swain, for example, because the E goes out and comes back, and it has to hit you on the way back to get the root, and then you have to pull with the auto or whatever. I was like, I am always waiting for the ADC, because I know they're going to step up and they're going to shoot that minion, and when they shoot that minion, they're going to be in that exact spot for 1/2 of 1 second. to execute that animation. And I'm going to throw my shit out there so it intersects exactly at the time that they're going to step forward just to shoot that minion. And then we're going to rip them forward. And that's most doable on cannon minions. Because they may give up a melee minion. They may
People
give up
turn
a
their
caster
monitors
minion.
off when they want to go for cannons.
Yeah, but on a cannon, they'll stand right there and get ripped out of, position and murdered because it's a lot of gold. And they hate giving those up. And like, whenever we went through a replay, I was like, oh, right here. This son of a bitch is going to step forward. I know they're going to step forward. And my shit's going to intersect right there. And, look for that opportunity to be a little further up. Because that's a moment that we can punish. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we had that, like, look, here it is, it's happening, it's a punishable moment. Like our lane aggression, the very next game went like way up, two and a half times what it was, because we were on the same page, because we were both looking for that opportunity, right? And then if it missed, we just, back off accordingly, right? Because we knew that's what we were looking for. Is that's going to hit at that exact moment. That's like the biggest power spike in the world is level 2, right? The second biggest opportunity is knowing like cannon minion trades. Like you're gonna do trading stance. You're gonna stand on that cannon minion, wait for the guy to hit it, and then you're gonna lock him in place as he's aiming to shoot, and then go kill him or make a really rough trade. And like when I watch people play, like it's been weird watching, like, because we came all the way up. Like I started on my Smurf account with Hash, and that Smurf account is somewhere in like high bronze, low silver or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we played with people all over the spectrum of skill levels because I'm Smurf detected on that account, so it pushes me up anyway. But
It's sort of a clusterfuck.
yeah, it's just very variable games. Like we'll get some that the people are really actually pretty good, and then the next game we'll get a Sona that's like 10 years behind their ADC, right?
Oh yeah, I remember reviewing one game with you where she was doing donuts under the tower while Vayne was just trying to, I don't know, desperately
Like,
trying to get any CS.
and so it's that kind of variability of performance that you just kind of go, uh, you know, uh, you see things that are so massively different in skill level because you would never see anybody that is actually good at the game this far behind their ADC. Yeah,
Blake
like
has his arms stretched out.
yeah, I'm about
Just
6
for our
inches.
listeners, yeah.
6 inches, audio listeners. So that just doesn't happen. It puts you completely out of the game, and whenever you see stuff like that, it's like, okay, this is a moment that we can just abuse the shit out of. And I think that like a large part of turning successful and what we were doing, or like optimizing success, is identifying those moments and saying like, when we see this is how we need to respond as a unit. Either we need to move forward, we need to move back,
Mm-hmm.
and like these are the times when I don't want to go ass face into them, right? Like we just trade and then we back off, or we analyze kill percentages, and all of these things that we've talked about have synced largely what our objectives are in lane. And like I can already tell, even in we've only played like 15 games maybe. And in those
Yeah.
15 games, I've seen him get way better. Like way better.
The reviews and just syncing up with your partner help a lot for me, for sure. And then coming in with the goals that we agree on. It's so different from going into solo queue where you're just spending. I feel like as an ADC, I spent half my mental energy just figuring out what I thought my support was going to do. With Blake, I know what he's going to do. It kind of has one mode. If you're not first, you're last sort of mentality.
Yeah.
um, it's so much easier when someone has a consistent behavior.
Well, I mean,
Take
so
the guesswork out of it.
to compare and contrast, you've also played some games duo queue with Endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
And
He's the same.
it-
He's really the same way with Swain. We've only played with Jin Swain, and it's like you just CS until he lands an E, and then someone dies. that's
It's yeah, a bit of a one trick in that way. But yeah.
yeah. Or he lands a long range W, and I land my W, and then
Yeah,
someone dies.
that works.
So it's
That's
like
But yeah, like I
it's
will
very
say,
different
like
being on the same page with someone that you're relying on.
the fun moment for me is, I told Hash like I don't know 4 games in or something that like go for it, just go for it, even if you die.
Oh yeah, I needed to hear that because I
Yeah.
still had the sort of very silver mentality of I don't want to get flamed. I don't want to like flash forward with my 4th shot and like miscalculate my damage by 5 points and then deal with a half hour of people typing at me.
Like flash, 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 cooldown. Like oh god damn it.
Yeah, exactly. So
But
that
no,
mentality's
like-
gone. That mentality's totally gone, which is very helpful for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just pull the fucking trigger and go. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You miscalculated. We'll try it. Then I told him I was like, dude, I will never get mad at you for trying to do something and failing. Like the only times I ever get upset is when you don't try to do something and succeed.
Yeah,
Wait.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a really cute T-shirt, Blake.
Is that a t-shirt? I just made that up on the spot. I thought that was
No,
deep.
no, that's like 10 years from now, like Eat, Pray, Love is gonna be that.
Oh yeah, like try to do
Like,
something and
yeah.
fail, and that's okay. Don't
Yeah.
try to do something and
Yeah.
succeed. LOLA
Like-
podcast.
Painted on some sandalwood in someone's bathroom.
there's like that written on the shirt, and then on the back there's like a cat hanging from a tree limb.
Yeah.
It's just like hanging there.
It's basic white people shit.
Yeah, I could totally. I'm on board.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, other than the things that we just talked about, if you were gonna suggest to somebody else, like, okay, I'm gonna follow the hash plan. I'm gonna
Oh, don't. Don't follow that. Jesus.
Now I'm gonna follow the
This
hash
is
plan,
not
man.
a
I'm gonna
bad
get better.
plan, though, guys. Honestly,
I don't know, the stuff that's making me happy.
if you were going to improve upon the hash plan in some way, shape,
Yeah, okay, how about that? Better question. Good job, Zill. Better
Thank you.
question.
Yeah.
You're gonna improve on
Okay,
what we've done
generally,
so far. What are you gonna
Be smarter, be handsomer, be thinner. I don't know. If you have more time, just get more games in, but don't ever sacrifice quality for quantity. That definitely didn't work for me. Like I know that there's the Tyler One method of take 5,000 coin flips and when you win enough of them, you eventually learn something. I don't think that's realistic for anyone that has a job. So focusing on quality and not wins, but an improvement in the game, no matter what. Like I don't know. I was talking to X Ranger a little bit earlier today, and he mentioned something about feeling like games at a higher level tend to be won or lost at about 8 minutes, which tells me that it's all about laning phase. So, right, if you can focus on
Tells me it's all about the mentality of people who think they've already lost at 8 minutes. But
I mean, maybe, but-
there's something to be said for games being short in general right now, though, and I think
I mean, I'm tongue in cheek whenever I say that.
fair enough.
like maybe if you are good at picking apart your laning phase, you'll end up getting yourself into a position where you hit your item spike faster in general.
Well,
And understand what that item spike means and then leverage it. And like, I don't think that's something I understood up until this season. Like, I spent a lot of time watching a Grandmaster Gen 1 trick. So I learned about what it meant to have an advantage, but then what the fuck do you do with the advantage? Like, how do you leverage it? Um, and that's all out of laning phase.
so I mean, I
Every
think
game.
there's 2 points there that I want your opinion on,
Yeah.
and both is the first is the importance of laning phase right now. I think dissecting your laning phase, going back to, I was being tongue in cheek whenever I said people will decide the game has decided
Yeah,
it
I got
at
you.
8 minutes. Oh God, you know. But there is truth to that because people are like, I saw a Reddit post the
You're
other
going to play
day.
with people with that attitude
Yeah, I saw a
all the
Reddit
time.
post the other day that's basically like the team that wins anymore feels like it's who has the strongest mental wins the game. And I
Like, for
will,
example, I watched that streamer today playing against a Yumi Ari Hecarim, and the Draven disconnected. And his team had absolute dog shit mental, and they got destroyed in under 20 minutes in a 4v5.
yeah. And so it's
And that
like,
was at like high diamond.
yeah. So it's like, okay, if that's the case and you can perfect the early game to the point where you're a dominant force, it will encourage people on the other team to just quit. And games in which the other team just quits are like your win rate is going to go through the roof because you smashed somebody early. So like the importance of the early game in combination with people having like quitter weak mentality doubles the importance of the early game.
Yeah, I think the tilt factor in ranked is definitely super real.
Which is
People
why, as a person
love
that likes to
typing
either go
bot
even
diff,
in lane
jungle
or
diff,
lose
mid diff.
gracefully, I like to have a very good mental.
Yeah. So I mean, that's number one. And then the second thing that I was going to say is what I think separates good players from great players is leveraging advantage. So to go back to that game that we got fucking annihilated, right? Like a good team will beat us in a trade and then we'll dick around for a while and we'll kill some minions and they'll kill some minions and then they'll kill us again because they have an advantage.
No, I think that Draven was tower diving us at level 4.
Yeah, and so like the master tier player though, they don't give you room to breathe. Like he came back with an item advantage and he bent us over with it. Like he literally came back and at the first available opportunity forced us to either fight him or die.
Mm-hmm.
And we did, and we died. And
Sure
then
did.
he did it again and again and again. And it's like I've said before, it's like a great player will put their boot on your throat and you will feel like there is nothing you can do. And then the game is over. And that's when like at diamond plus like high diamond, like even in diamond 4 that shit didn't happen, but in diamond like 1, diamond 2, that's whenever you see this becomes a routine thing where people will get smashed and then they'll go,
Like in any other rank, it would be a small advantage, but in this
yeah,
rank, the game is literally over.
right, because they know how to grow that lead or deprive you in such a way that you
Mm.
can't meaningfully contribute for the
Yeah.
rest of the game.
Right.
And so, if you truly want to be amazing at the game, you need to learn that skill. And it is one of the hardest to develop because it's one of the highest tier skills that you can have. Because everything below it, you have to do perfectly in order to get to that point where you can just repeatedly smash somebody and force those wins. Right? That's the last thing you will ever develop. But when you develop it, that's the point at which you have really made it in league. So, and case in point, Master Tier, Draven, and Seraphine like annihilated us thoroughly,
Mhm.
and it was a god awful
I mean,
experience.
it's been I think almost 2 years since I've played a game like that.
Well, where you did that to somebody and you just
No,
smash,
no,
smash,
where
smashed them,
where I
or
just had to like at level 5 walk away from my tower because it wasn't safe to go to my tower.
yeah. And I mean, yeah, it feels terrible. You see this play out a lot more in like top lane and stuff, where you're more on an island, and if somebody beats somebody, well, then it's like, oh, you're 0-1, and now you're 0-2, and now
Mm-hmm.
you're 0-3, and by the time we get out of laning phase, you're like 0-7, and we have a Fiora that one-shots everybody or something, you know. But it doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it plays out that hard in bot lane
Rarely.
because
It's really rare for it to
yeah, because it
play out
takes
that way.
two. It takes two to realize that. So the odds that you have that are smaller because even if the ADC knows that he's that strong, he's going to go in 1v2, get killed, and then he'll start yelling at his support, and then you win because they hate each other and they start playing tilted. You know. So,
Yeah.
all right. Hash, do you have anything else that you want to add?
Me?
Yeah, or Zill. Either one.
Nah. Makes sense to me.
Sweet. All
I
right.
just think that Hash needs to show up as Dad Bod Randy Savage on a regular basis.
I think you should get a Smurf account and name it Dad Bod Randy Savage. I think that's.
It's actually that's a pretty fun name. I have one other account. I only have one. It's Gentleman Caller.
Is that
It's-
all?
That's the account. You know, you and your girlfriend play on. But this is
Okay,
different.
fair enough.
This is different.
All right. So, listeners, Patreon rewards and whatnot. This episode goes out to John Fay. Thank you, John Fay, for supporting the podcast. You're the man, and we appreciate you. As to all the other, top tier rewards where we repeatedly shout you out like Rodrigo Gialli that one week. That's $50 a month. We've had no takers on that for a little while, so you can step in. That could be
That's not
you.
true. That's not true. There is one other
And
$50
then,
contributor.
okay, hold on. I'll get there.
Okay, all right.
Then the tier reward where you choose like what Ziller I play in ranked. That hasn't been claimed since they've got Zill on Talon. How's that going, buddy?
Real quick, I want to add to that. So, I've been at work for the past month, not been home, didn't sleep, didn't eat, just been at work for 40 days straight. Um, Now I'm back on the podcast. Now I'm back playing games. We will resume the talent experiment. There will be more games. There will be streams. And to all the people who I've said that I will send coffee to, you will get your coffee.
All right. So that has happened. Nobody's picked anything for me yet. Super. Other than that,
Pick you, me.
oh God,
Oh,
oh man, that's cold. Okay, so if
I'm just saying, I'm making money, and if no one else is gonna lay it down, I'm about to pick something.
all right,
It ain't gonna be pretty.
making money. All right, so the other thing is, Hash asked me on the show, like, how much would it cost for me to do like a scripted thing where we like have an event and I basically do ASMR and sacrifice my dignity? And I said anything higher than the highest reward, and I'll do it. So he raised $101, and now I'm committed. So, there is a ASMR script.
Good night, everybody.
No, I'm not doing it right now. It will be a side episode, right? So it's not going to be an hour or anything.
Sweet.
It'll be short. I'm not going to do this forever. I have a script. I didn't write it. I'm going to read it. All right? So he wrote it.
I've already had a preview, and
Yeah.
it's excellent.
Yeah. So I'm going to read it. Highlights are going to be that I purchased a bathrobe for this.
Mhm.
So there are props involved.
Yep.
And yeah, that's gonna happen, and it's gonna be
Corn.
released.
You also had to purchase corn.
I do have to purchase corn.
Do
So,
you have any of
listeners,
that corn soda?
yeah, I still have some. I can take a swig of that
Get
in
a
there.
wine glass.
Get
that
a
in
wine
there.
glass. I have that
Put
too.
that in there.
All right.
I want to see it.
All right, done. So, as you can tell, this is happening. It's coming together. I haven't recorded it yet. It will be recorded soon. I'm going to release it as a side episode. If you guys want to do something like this, okay, shoot.
Okay, shoot, he says.
Like, keep in mind, I will retain absolutely minimal vetoing power on this. Like,
And I'm super
Yeah.
here for it. So like if you want to go like 25% with one other friend, I'll go 50 and get you over the finish line.
so, I mean, let it be known the podcast is available for these things. So, that being said, you all will see an episode coming out soon once I get the opportunity to actually record it, and I will post that. And you'll either love it or hate it. The last time I did like a hypnosis thing episode where like it was anti-tilt, everybody hated it. So
I liked it.
I got
Whatever.
tons
I'll
of
give you one
feedback on
positive
that. I had
review.
like one person tell me that was cool, and I had like 10 people tell me that was the weirdest shit they've ever had to listen to. And I'm like, well, then don't.
We don't
listen
want to be
to
the
it.
victim of it, man. I'm just saying
Yeah.
we want you to be
Yeah,
the
this is what
center
I'm
of
telling you.
this.
This is happening. There will be a video. Check it out. Thank you guys for supporting the podcast. I do appreciate it. Your monetary support has been noted. I have put that towards fees and the audio editor. So you guys are really taking care of him, and I know he appreciates that. And I do, because I don't have to edit the audio. So thank you guys for supporting the podcast. I truly appreciate it. And if you got anything to spare, even if it's $1 or whatever, that may give you the random shout out. Anything helps. And if you love what we're doing, please support it.
Or
If not,
come play games with us.
yeah, if
Like,
not,
do
come play games
fucking
and
shit.
continue listening. Tell your friends,
Get in the
whatever.
Discord. Come on.
Yeah, get in the Discord. And by the way, the Discord has been growing steadily. So I say this every fucking week, but we play games with people who come in to play games with us. It's not weird. Just pop in and say, hey, I listen to the show. Would
Hi,
you-"
I'm awkward, and I listen to podcasts and think
Would-
that they're my friends. And then we're like, no, we are your friends.
We are.
And then we play games.
Yeah, you say, I would like to
Yeah.
play a game with you. And I'll say, all right, friends, saddle up. And we'll play. And that'll happen. You know, so,
Hey, we're all over 30, the three of us, right?
yeah, I've got nothing to live for at this point.
All right,
Correct.
yeah, so, okay, great. So
Yeah.
there's a murder of crows, there's a crash of rhinos, and 2 or more white men over 30 is a podcast.
Well played. All right, that's it. We're closing it out on that. Good night, everybody.